Good. All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's been a while since we played, so not much recap of the last game. I was proud of our guys, and it's good to get that victory down there. A really hot day in South Florida, and a really athletic team we played. So, just pleased with the way the guys played, and certainly the outcome of the game. And we've just focused our efforts on Rice, and I've had a chance to watch them play 3 games and just really impressed. One, with their size, how physical they are, and I think they're a really well-coached football team. We faced Mike back in 2019, and he is such a good football coach and has built a really strong team there. They haven't gotten the results that they wanted a couple times this year, but he's going to a bowl game last year and that program where he's moved the needle there. I really respect that, because this program, very similar. We took over a program that had struggled historically and for many years, and able to get it going. That's a lot of toil and a lot of commitment by players and coaches and support staff and administration, and so give him a lot of credit for what he's done and what he's built there, and the respect that he has amongst the coaches in our league, and talking to other coaches, and just their respect for the Rice program and for Mike and what he's done there. So, what's been really impressive is in today's college football world, with the transfer portal and NIL and all those things, how he's been able to keep his team together, and he's got essentially the guys that would have been returning have returned, and very few transfers, which builds camaraderie, and that's a team that is going to get better as the season goes along, and I hope they wait a week against us to play good. They have played some tough football teams with Houston this past weekend, a really athletic team, and Sam Houston, who's just greatly improved over the last couple of years. And I don't care who you're playing, you score that many points, which they did against Texas Southern. That Rice team looked good, and they offensively, defensively, in their kicking game. So we know what a battle it's going to be, and what an effort it's going to take on our part. And this is a team that's just athletically, we don't match up very good against them. And that's being very, very frank. They got guys that can run and change direction. They're big. Their front 7 on defense are really strong players. They're really good in the kick return game. Their kickoff return unit is ranked really high in the country right now. So there's plenty of things that we got to get prepared for, and we're going to have to play really well here at home to have a chance to win. And so we're looking forward to the opportunity to be back at Mikey Stadium, and looking forward to Saturday.
Jeff, not to sound cliche, but what are the first 2 games? What have they taught you, shown you about this Army team?
I'm not sure yet. It's early in the season, and I thought our guys played hard in both of the games. I thought they had great enthusiasm and effort. We've been able to run the football, and that's been encouraging. We talked about it after the game with our defense, just the bend don't break mentality, trying not to give up big plays, and that's something that always concerns me, and it certainly concerns me against against Rice. They've got athletic guys who run good, can make big plays, and they can expose us if we don't play very sound and play really well. And so I'm happy with the brand of football we're playing. Being able to run the ball, control the clock. We've played good in the kicking game. Limited big plays, and so that's been a good formula for us for the first couple of weeks. But to really say all the things that I think are good about this team, I don't know that we've played enough to really know for sure who we are and what we're capable of.
Any week, but 2 wins and then a bye week. How challenging is it
Well, my job's to keep our team grounded, and there's enough things that we do in each game that we need to improve on, that we can point those out and get the guys to excuse me, focus on those things. And so there are several things from the last game, just in looking at areas we can improve, individual fundamentals and techniques, overall performance in terms of a scheme and working together, where you got 5 offensive linemen and a back and a protection, or 5 offensive linemen and a tight end and a blocking scheme in the run game. Our secondary and our linebackers playing the coverages and the zones, and being in position where we need to be, getting pressure on the quarterback. And that's not one guy. That's collectively. We don't have anybody on our team that's just a sure enough pass rusher where people got to double team him, and he's going to be playing in the NFL next year, and we're just so talented that we're a problem for somebody. That's a group effort. It's got to create some seams and get that done. Thank you.
Connor, go ahead and start with the guys on Zoom.
Cool. Seth Mendelson, you can start us off.
Good afternoon, Coach. Great win down in Florida weeks ago. It was one of the hottest days I can remember. You already touched on it, but talk about, again, what you've seen, the good things you've seen from your team so far. Your running game's good. Your defense, the bend don't break. We saw it against Florida Atlantic, saw it against Lehigh. Just give us an idea of, are there maybe some other things you may want to try going into the Rice game? They gave up a lot of points to Houston. Anything you want to discuss there?
We're just going to try to run the ball good and try to stop the run and play good in the special teams. I mean, those are the things we want to do well. We've run the ball. We've run the ball pretty effectively. Our defense played really well against the run against Florida Atlantic, which was a big plus in the game. And I think we've played solid on the special teams. We don't have a bunch of big return plays or block kicks or anything like that. Pardon me, gentlemen. But we've played solid, and we've covered kicks fairly decent. First game, we had a punt coverage where we had 4 missed tackles on the same play, which was a little agonizing. But those are the good things, and there's plenty that we got to get better at. And as I said, Rice is very athletic. They're very well coached. They're big, and we'll get exposed if we don't play really well. So we got to make sure we're playing fundamentally sound football and trying to play physical.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
We'll go to Joe Iacano.
Hey, Coach Monken. First question, you already hit on it a little bit, but Rice has a pretty balanced offense. E.J. Warner's already thrown for over 440 yards on a year. I think they're rushing for about 150 yards a game, if I'm not mistaken. So what does a balanced athletic offense like that, what type of challenges does that present for your defense?
Well, they're not one-dimensional, which means you got to defend the entire field. And where we really want to be solid against the run and try to keep people from running the football, I think that's really important. We're going to have to play very sound in the secondary, not give up plays behind us, throws over our head, which those are quick scores, and that doesn't lead to playing very good defense, and that's not complimentary football. We want to control the clock and limit the possessions, and if they're scoring really fast, that doesn't do that. So it forces us to defend the entire field, and so obviously a challenge.
And then my follow-up and final question on the other side of the ball, against Lehigh, you mentioned you had 6 possessions, 6 touchdowns. That's about as good as it can get. Against Florida Atlantic, Army ran the ball for over 400 yards, but only came away with 24 points. So there was the fumble and a couple punts. So what can you guys do to make sure you're maximizing your possessions as well and trying to get 6 every time out?
I think putting ourselves in a manageable third down position That's really what we're trying to do is give ourselves a chance on third or fourth down to turn the sticks. And that's easy to talk about. It's a lot more difficult to do, particularly when you're playing people that have talented players. And Rice's front seven on defense is really tough and really physical. And I think after 2 games they were leading the nation in sacks. So their havoc rate, that's tackles for loss, sacks, pass breakups, cause turnovers, those defensive big plays. They have a really good and positive for them havoc rate, which makes it difficult on an offense. So what we've got to do is try to churn out yards against a physical, big, active front seven, and that's not easy to do. So focusing on trying to find ways to run the football, get ourselves in a manageable third down position, and then on defense, try to again not give up big plays and try to force some punts and get them off the field on third down. So Rice is a good football team, and Rice is a well-coached team, and I've got so much respect for Mike Bloomgren and the job that he's done and the job that he's done in building that program. Because over the course of my career, whether it was at the other academy, here at Army, and we've had a chance to square off against Rice a lot, and he's done a really good job at a program that's that is not a blue blood Texas A&M, and that's hard. I mean, you talk about NIL money and transfer portal and all those things. There's 4,400 students at Rice. It's a small college just like us. The challenges are real there, and the job that he's done, taking them to the postseason and building a solid program. He's done a great job, and they're going to have a good team. They're going to come in here hungry to win. I'm certain of it, and we're going to have to match the intensity.
Thanks, Coach.
We'll go to Ken Crater.
Hey, good afternoon, Coach. Good to see you. Just thinking back to Florida Atlantic, I thought your team demonstrated a lot of mental toughness to be able to go out in those conditions, 90 degrees, 70% humidity, and execute the way they did and hold up so well in the second half of the game. How did you prepare them, and who kind of led the effort from the team, from the captains, to be able to play the way they did?
I think the team is fairly well conditioned, and pardon me, a lot of that credit goes to Coach Hughes, or Connor Hughes, our strength coach, and his staff, our trainer, Tim Kelly, Jackie McCann, that staff, our medical team, our sports medicine team, to build those guys up and their endurance over the course of the summer and through preseason camps, so they're prepared for those hot games, and whether it's South Florida or here at Michie Stadium. And we fully anticipated that maybe a Saturday like we have coming up this weekend, it could be really hot here on Saturday. So just trying to prepare our guys. They do a good job. Our guys work hard. We don't condition run gassers and run sprints and those kinds of things, but we do keep the pace of practice up at a pretty fast pace to get a lot of reps in a short amount of time. We do that because of the schedules that our guys pull here, and the limited amount of time that we do have with them. But I think the mental toughness that our guys develop as cadets here, and they go out in summer training in Camp Buckner in the summertime, and sometimes it's really hot, and they got full gear on, all their ammo and equipment and rucksacks, and they're trudging through the heat, and those are opportunities for those guys to build the conditioning and mental toughness as well. So we got a good group of leaders. I'm really happy with the leadership on our team, not just from the senior class, but just in general, because there's some guys in the in the junior and sophomore classes that are providing leadership too. So they they're not all in front of the team and giving speeches and that kind of thing. They do a great job of leading by example, and they open their mouths when they need to and talk. And you have to do that as a leader. You have to talk and communicate, and you can't be a silent leader. And fortunately, we got guys that are good players, and they lead by example, and they work hard, and they're tough, and they're not afraid to talk.
And Coach, on defense, before the game, we were talking a little bit about the need to balance pass rush and coverage. And Chance Keith had a big game with 7 tackles, linebacker, and then the growth of your defensive backfield. Obviously, Max DiDomenico had the interception, well positioned on the play, but then Donathan Platt, Casey Larkin, Jaden Mays. How do you see that unit growth? You've only given up 14 points this year. It seems like it's a positive growth for them.
We're a work in progress, and Casey's really starting there for the first time, and Jaden Mays as well. And they've come up with some plays. We've made some mistakes on the back end too, and we can't do that. We're not good enough. We're not built like a team that can give up a quick score and just say, oh well, we'll just match them dollar for dollar here, point for point. We can't do that. But our coaches are doing a good job positioning those guys. Coach Verpel coached the safeties. Coach Dixon has been with us a long time, coaching the corners. Two really good coaches, and Coach Woody, putting those guys in position. And there's a lot of times in the game where people are catching passes in front of us, and they're moving the chains, and it's a little frustrating sometimes to watch. Even for me, I'm like, man, can we just get them off the field? But we've managed to keep them off the scoreboard for the most part, and that's been really positive. So, we just got to keep coming up with plays, and eventually, if we keep letting people get to the red zone, they're going to score some points. So we got to do a good job of keeping them away from the goal line, and if they do get it down there, trying to hold them to 3 or none.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Ken.
We'll go to Ken McMillan.
Hey, Jeff. In the 10 days since Florida Atlantic, what were you working on? Were you trying to refine things? Were you trying to expand your game in any way?
No, just get better at the things we're doing. I think we kind of have an identity. We do what we do. We didn't add anything or come up with new wrinkles, or it wasn't. The attitude wasn't that we've got this extra time, let's find some more things we can do. It was, we've got this extra time, let's try to find ways to get better at the things that we're doing. So that's really been the focus.
Although in years past, Jeff, you've mentioned that you do expand the playbook as the season goes on, correct?
Yeah, I mean, there are things that that perhaps we can add that are complementary plays to the things we're doing on offense. Maybe do some different things to present a blitz, or if we want to rush 5 people or 6 people or 7 people or whatever it may be, where those guys add from. Those are all opportunities to tweak and expand. But we probably do that as the season goes along. Guys start to master the things we're doing, and they can handle a little bit more. So there's always some of that.
What have you learned in the last 10 days? I'm sure you did a lot of review and, as you said, working on the fundamentals and refining. What have you learned about this team in the last 10 days that maybe you didn't know before?
That even as well-conditioned as I think our team is, a 94-degree day in South Florida will take it out of you. And our guys were gassed. They were gassed through that weekend into last week, and frankly, it was kind of nice to get a little bit of a break this weekend, because our guys were toast after that game. So I think our guys are very competitive. Even as we've gone through the off week, they really enjoy the spirit of practice and the opportunities to compete against each other when we get in practice. we got a good practice team. Our guys work hard. They try hard. There wasn't any point, at least up to today. Now we got practice today, tomorrow, and Thursday, so we got a lot of work to do this week. But they haven't parked the bus, as they say, and just kind of gone through the motions. I felt like they put forth a good effort and tried to get better.
That you've had a lot of success with scoring on drives. So the question is, how do you feel about your special teams? It's they haven't been getting a ton of work.
I think our special team's doing a good job. They've had a chance to get out there and cover some kicks. Our kicker's been doing a good job of kicking the ball and getting us some touchbacks. But our opponents have returned some kicks, and we've knocked them down a couple of times inside the 25, which is, to me, that's a win. If you kick off and you kick it in the end zone, they don't return. They get the ball at 25. If you can tackle them inside the 25, that's yards gained on the special teams. We haven't given up any fakes. We've been able to fake a couple of kick plays, which have been big for us. So, I don't know, can it be more impactful than scoring a touchdown on a play where you're lined up for a field goal? It's a pretty good impact by the special teams, and the punt fake in the first drive of the first game kind of sparked that drive. They had us in a 3-and-out to start the game, and their team was fired up, and they should have been, and we were able to successfully fake the punt. So, I think those guys are doing well. They take a lot of pride in it. Coach Saturnio does a terrific job, and so I hope our punt team doesn't see the field, and I hope our punt block team has to go out there a bunch. And that's the case in every game. That means we're moving the sticks and not having to punt, and the other team's, having to give it back to us. So we'll see how it progresses as we go through the season.
And Jeff, last night there were some national reports that the American Athletic might be pursuing Air Force to join the league. Do you know anything about it? What do you think about it?
Are they still playing football out there at that school?
I heard that they do.
I don't know anything about it.
What would you think about them joining and then having all 3 service academies in one league?
I don't care about anything but our team. Doesn't matter to me.
Obviously, Bryson Daly's doing a great job at quarterback, but how are the other quarterbacks developing in practice? How do you feel about the backup crew?
Good. I think all 3 of the backup quarterbacks could play. I think Dwayne's the clear backup right now. Cale has done a really good job from his freshman year to now of preparing himself. He's not as far along as Dwayne, but Dwayne's been in the program obviously a year longer. I'm really excited about Ethan Washington. Very talented. He's the farthest away from being able to play, but he could go in the game and keep the game going for us. And I'm really excited about the future with all 3 of those guys. And we got a junior, a sophomore, and a freshman backing up a senior. So I think that's a good group right now.